A motion is in order to approve the appointment of Alan Benjamin, instructional paraeducator, effective 9/109, at a rate of $12.82 per hour in accordance with Group 2 salary and benefits, replacing Natasha Thomas. So moved.
Second on that one? Second. Any discussion on that one? I got a question for Tony. Tony, is that a special ed aide?
No, it's not.
What's that?
No.
Okay.
Was
Well-
Natasha Thomas?
No. She's a paraprofessional, but again, working in a second grade classroom with children who have interventions, who need interventions. So, and as you all know, we are down in our number of paraprofessionals. And
Your
so
mic's not on, Dr. Yonson.
I'm
Dr.
sorry.
Yonson, do you know what number we're down to, please?
It's on the agenda.
Approximately.
32 it says.
So we're down from, I think that was, what, from 44?
Well, that's instructional and non-instructional. And we only have non-instructional at the high school. Mr. Farrar, how many non-instructional do we have? Four? Okay. So we have 28 paraprofessionals between the elementary, middle, intermediate, and high school. And that's down from 40.
How many paraprofessionals well, let me answer to this one. How many non-professional, do we have at Bristol Borough?
I have
Paul,
no
do you know?
No.
Well, last time I checked, you had 9. Yeah, and the training program, would you know? I know they have IEP aides, but no regular aides. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the answer.
They have them, but they don't have one for the class.
Right, so they got special ed aides.
And we do not have one for every classroom either.
Right, well,
Is this required?
no. My position is this, and I've been saying it for 2 years. I think our payroll is too high for a school district this high. What I'd like to do, here's something to think about. What I'd like to do is take that money and put it in the buildings where I think we need it more than anywhere else. Just about $25,000, you could redo, that'd be a nice down payment on the parking lot at Grandview. Would be a repaving job possibly for the high school or many other different things. You know, these two schools, we're putting $7 million into them, but you can always do more things to them, and I know it needs more work. It needs to need more bathrooms for the 4th and 5th grade. But the problem is, the resources aren't there to have all the payroll and all the other stuff we want to do to the building. So that's why I'm not going to vote for this position, and also because it's not special ed. Right? And we have another school district down the street that doesn't have any. That's one reason why they can afford to build schools, but we can't. They're more efficient.
Dr. Yonson, how did they compare in their PSSA scores?
I did not look at Christopher, but I believe that they were.
I don't know
actually,
which one.
I do know. They are below us.
Comparable. I mean, you know.
No, they are. No,
Right.
no, they're not comparable. They are below us. I'm sorry, I did look at that.
Not Bristol Borough.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I don't think
Anybody
so.
have the newspaper? Thank you.
Yes.
You like to know the numbers? Because I do now recall, because I did check on that.
So
So
may
you're
I
saying
get the
we don't hire
numbers?
this aide, that's the school stuff.
Thank you. No, this is carrier time.
Yes. Yeah, well,
Just apologize to John for Okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it here. Well, we'll start with their 6th grade, 47% in reading, and ours is 64%. That's almost 20% more. Let's see, another one.
It's all due to the paraeducators.
No, I'm not saying that, but I was just told that they aren't.
Look,
you know,
Doctor, I
was-
looked at those briefly, and there were some scores they had higher and some lower than us. Look, I'm not going to get into the scores.
Right.
Look,
I'm just telling you
what
that
I want
last.
to do, my theme is, I want to take some of the payroll, and I've said this before, I want to take some of the payroll and put it into the buildings.
We've already lost 15
The reason why the buildings are in
paraeducators.
trouble is because our payroll's so high, we never had any money left over to put into the building.
We do have the money in the budget. Last year at budget time, the board, I can have Ms. Corrigan look it up, but one of the discussions, the major discussion was on the number of paraeducators that we did not replace, and the board said from going forward that we would not go any lower than we went. I know last week at the agenda meeting, which I was not at, Ms. Ruffing did tell me, unfortunately she's ill tonight, that's why she's not here. She told me that she discussed this with the board, who was here, and she gave the reasons as to why this individual should be replaced. This is a yearly, it's not contractual. Paras are only here from year to year. It is a second grade position, and I would strongly recommend that the board follow Ms. Ruffing's recommendation. But again, it's up to the
Bill, did
board.
you speak to a teacher about age in classrooms, about 25? You want to speak about that?
Somebody had a discussion with somebody in one of the schools, and they mentioned it. It was one of the younger teachers said 25 kids wouldn't be a problem.
And what about the age?
That was in a high school, that was an older teacher.
Well, let's just vote on it.
Look,
Let's just vote on
let's
it.
discuss it a little bit more. My position is,
We understand what your position is,
If you
Mr.
have
Howard.
a
You've stated
teacher-
it 4 times. Can we please vote on
let
it?
me speak. If you have a teacher with up to 25 children, and they can't teach 25 children in 180 days, there's something wrong. Either the teacher needs to be replaced, or the students have to study harder with their homework.
But that's not, again, it's our program, Mr. Hellman. Now, let me just explain. For example, the only subjects that we use our paras are in our math classes and our reading classes. In our reading class, we have a balanced literacy program, which means that we do whole group instruction, which would be the teacher, and then we do small group instruction. And the children are divided into different groups. The teacher works with one group of children, the para works with the second, and the third group of children is doing independent work. Then throughout that time period, the reading period or the math period, what happens is the children rotate. And so, again, it's the type of program that we are delivering. And I believe that that is one of the reasons why our proficiency levels at the elementary are so high, and why 2 years ago now it is, we were #1 in the county in 3rd grade with our proficiency levels, beating out school districts that had a much higher socioeconomic population, where the expectation is that they would have the numbers that we had, which was close to 95% proficiency. Since that time, the board has slowly but surely not replaced those paraeducators. And I do believe that the scores are going down because of that. Again, I'm just telling you what happened 2 years ago, that we were 95%, we're down to
What's the
87%.
average class size in our elementary for like 1st and 2nd grade? How many students in each class?
20,
18, 19, 20?
20.
You're saying that teacher needs an aide to teach those 18, 19, 20 children for a whole year? She has that person.
Again, I did explain our balanced literacy program. I explained how we do it. We're not the only ones. Most districts do it that way. The para is not with the teacher all day long. They are only in there during the math and the reading periods, no other time. They are shared between kindergarten all the way up to 5th
Well,
grade.
you know, we have a school district right up the street with no aides, and I have my sister-in-law is a elementary teacher for the Philadelphia school system. She has 33 and no aides.
And how are their scores?
I'm not saying we go to 33, I'm just telling you the facts about the school district. They seem to be not doing so bad. I mean, look, and the
Well,
bonus is...
I think
the
Bill
bonus
is
is I
coming
wanna
quite
take the money
prepared
and
for
put it into
this
the
meeting
schools.
this evening with
I
these
want to take the money
numbers.
and put it into the buildings, because I think that's where we need some work done. Okay, I'm not trying to lower taxes on that. I'm not going to say, take the money and lower taxes next year. I'm going to take the money and put it in the buildings. Okay? That's what I want to do. That's where I think
It's not like
we
we
need
don't
it.
have any.
Right? That's the bonus part of this. Okay?
We've lost 15 since this
Taxes aren't
board's
going to
taken
be
over.
lowered. The money's going to go into the buildings.
Yeah, but
Buildings
he's
need
giving
more
you-
work than even the $7 million ever done. I think it's never ending.
We're not
They haven't been
compared to
fixed for
other
50
districts,
years.
Brenda. Bristol Borough is doing significantly worse than we are, and so does
I
Philadelphia.
disagree. Let's vote. Roll call.
Mr. Kemp?
Yes.
Mr. Hellman?
No.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Radowski?
No.
Mrs. Myhock?
No.
Mrs. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Buckman?
Yes.
Mrs. Reichmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Heater?
Yes.
Motion carries.